I just had to like see. I'm gonna re-describe like what the movie opens up as. Sorry if it's not. Hold on. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm gonna explain what Murder Mystery is about. It's a new YouTube series. Anyway, it's not a TV show, but it's a movie. I'm like clueless. I forget. Anyways, okay. So ew. Now I'm getting lipstick in my hair. So anyways, so what happened in Murder Mysteries? I'm retelling it because like I screwed up like in like that video before when we described it. I had to like look it up. Sorry if I did that. Because like I like forgot where like Audrey, which is the hairdresser, and then okay, so it opens up with first it opens up with Nick, I forget his last name, but I think it's Spritz or something like that. He's a police officer, and then his wife Audrey is the hairdresser. So it opens up with them at their jobs, and then Nick had promised his wife Audrey that they'd go to Europe. I don't know if I said it in like the first time describing like the review of like this movie, Murder Mysteries. So fast forward like a little bit into like what I was saying, like into the movie. Now like I thought it was boring till it got to some good parts. So okay, after like Nick's finished working, they like before he becomes a detective, he's like a police officer. And then he like so he like told his like friend to lie to his wife before like they go out for supper. And then because like his wife and his friend's wife talk. So anyways, sorry if I keep saying anyways. So now like turn to like Nick buying like an anniversary card and then Amazon card at like the store. Then this kid like was stealing some stuff. Like there was a monster. He had a monster, and then he's like there was like I forget what the kid said to like Nick, but there was like some parts of it. Like there was like stuff in his bag, and then he opens up his bag. Because I don't remember what the kid said to Nick. That's why I skipped that part. So fast forward, Nick pulled out his wallet and then showed him the badge, which is like what a police does. And then after like he picks up cards or something, a card and then a gift card or something like that. So fast forward, like now we go to like the supper with the friends. Audrey and Nick did that. After we like see Audrey's like hair salon and stuff. So moving on to like after like going out for dinner, like go to bed, and then Nick surprised his wife with a trip to Europe. And then they go on a plane. Fast forward, after she was flossing her teeth and he was brushing her teeth, and then that's when he tells her about the surprise. About like the trip to Europe. And then because you see the postcard and like when at like Audrey's job. That's like the scene I really liked. Like this movie's like my favorite because I'm obsessed with Clue. Now jumping back into the movie. So I think Adam Sandler's like his wife I think was in the movie. She's like one of the flight attendants. Like if you go on the plane at like Bird, like you have to like show them the passports and like the tickets and stuff. Anyways, yeah, so now like that they showed him, they didn't get like first class or something like that, and then they had to go to like the back of like near the back of the plane. I can't really describe like the planes. So anyways, now they're like Nick was going to sleep, and then after like he said like Audrey said don't read my books for me after he's like I want to give it away. Sorry if I'm spoiling it, but there's like some deaths. Like my favorite part is when the guy that played Gaston, he comes in really later, but I don't remember exactly what part of like the first half of the movie. So he's like his character is really interesting. Like you've learned about his like life when he like talks to Audrey like a bit after like Nick goes to bed, and she like said something before like going to the first class. I don't remember what she said exactly, but oh yeah, something about earmuffs. And then she like went into the first. She went. I think they were up in the air or something like that. And then she like went to go to the front of the plane. No, first class. I have the hiccups now. And then she went to like a seat, and then there was earphones, and then she like took earphones, and then she was going to the bar. When she was at the bar, she like grabbed some nuts. I don't like saying that word. There's a million reasons why I said that. Then when she grabbed nuts, and then the flight attendant said something to her, and then Luke Perry. Why did I say Luke Perry? I did not mean to say his name. That's not the character that plays Charles something. I forget what his name is. His last name is. Was talking to Audrey, and then Nick wakes up, and then goes to investigate where his wife was. Is Emmett, and then he like said something to the flight attendants, like I forget what, something about like you're not supposed to be here or something like that. Like the front of the plane, you're not. Emmett, the first class, you're not supposed to be there. And Charles said like his name, and then whatever his last name is. Sorry if I'm not the best at describing it. So later on, like after like they were still talking about like Charles like fiance left him for the uncle. You find out like you see like the fiance, but I'm gonna talk about them in a little bit. So fast forward, like after like they're still talking, and then Nick gets up off his seat to go find his wife, and then so the flight attendant said something to Nick, like something about a police. Then he pulled out his badge, show her like the badge thing, and then he like was talking to like Charles and I forget and his wife about something, and then the wife said like that Charles had invited them on the boat after he like got a drink or something like that. Well, he paid for the drink, and then they goes to the bathroom to talk privately. And then Nick thought he was getting something, but I'm not gonna say too much about that. But Audrey turns him down and said, "No, this is a private conversation," or something like that. And then, while after that, they return to their seats again. And then they land soon at like Europe or something like that. And then that's when they like either decide the bus or the boat. So there was like a mom, dad, and then two kids like fighting. And then they ended up going with like Charles onto the boat, and then so they go onto the boat, and then Charles had like was up talking to like the fiance, like his dad's like future wife. I mean his uncle's wife. You like find out like later on after like that scene happened. Well, after like the girl, I think it was Grace or something. I forget her. I think that's her name. And she was saying something about like Susie. I think that's the Charles's ex-fiance's name. Said like was talking to like Charles about something, and then I don't know. And then fast forward after like that, Nick and my favorite part also is when Nick called his wife not Audrey but Allison. That's like the best scene ever. So yeah, that happened, and then fast forward all the way into that other part of like the scene. I forget what else happened, but there's a lot that happens in it. So then the colonel and his bodyguard, like, we're gonna tell them to get off the boat, and then Charles said that's the guest or something like that. He invited them as guests. So after like I can't talk. That scene happened. Then they go after like to the family, like, I was gonna say the billiard room, but it's not that. It's like I can't remember what that scene that room is, but it's like some kind of room in the boat. And then there's stuff that happened on that side of the room. And then Malcolm, the guy that played Malcolm, he played Ramses or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But he was like in the Haunted Mansion. I'm like, I kind of figured by like not the voice, but his face kind of looked familiar, like he was in a movie. So yeah, that's like, so when like fast forward after like he was about to like sign the will or something like that, the lights go off. You don't see who killed him. There was like a gun and a dagger. Sorry if I'm saying what it is, exposing too much of the movie, but yeah. So that was so confusing. I'm like, so okay, after like that's the first death, and then well, Grace left the room. You like, she was the mystery too. So you like meet the godson, the other friends and family on the boat too. And then later on, Nick tells like his wife and everyone to go into their rooms. And then he asked like one of the guys on the boats, like the workers on the boat, to like lock the door and make sure everyone never doesn't go in that room. But before that happens, there's a key evidence, but you're not supposed to touch the body or examine it or like pull something out like the dagger, because you're not supposed to. Yes, I've watched CSI and Criminal Minds, so you're not supposed to do that. If like someone dies, you're supposed to leave it in there, because it's like tampering with evidence or something like that, and it's like you can't like find the fingerprints things. So later on in like that same, like they're still on the boat, then they go like to their rooms to go to bed. Audrey and Nick were like talking about like the mystery that's going on. Like this is like the first like case that happened. And then they hear like gunshots because Nick's trying to go to sleep, and then Audrey like said something. I forget. Because I thought it was like the son that did it. Same with everyone, I think. So later on when that, sorry if you saw that, later on after that part happened, Tobias is the one that died. He's like the second death, like, that happened on the ship or the boat, whatever you like to call it. So they think, okay, so after they land on like this place, I think it was Monte Carlo or something like that, they get off the ship, and then the detective from like the other state was questioning everyone on the ship, and then he had like the smoke, and then so I'm like trying my best, like then it was like this air like smoke thing, and then it was like a perfect go, and then the bodyguard, I forget the bodyguard's name. I don't know if he had a name, but the colonel didn't catch it, but he like caught it, the bodyguard did. And then what else happened in it? So fast forward, like they said that the Americans did it, but you find out it wasn't them. Like, I'm not gonna get too much into that, sorry. Moving back on my bed. So okay, the next part like was really strange and weird. I find really weird. Okay, so the next thing that happened in this like same movie, they should have put the puzzle pieces together. So the detective taking over the case should have well, thankfully like he like told like Audrey to like leave for a second, and then he's like, the detective says to Nick about like lying about being like a detective or something like that, and then later on you find out like they were trying to solve the mystery of like who like killed those two people, and then there's a couple more deaths that happen in the movie, but they're like in different places. It's so odd. Like, okay, I forget who died after. Oh yeah, the third death was happened at the hotel after like, okay, if you see like in some movies, there's like paper and then tells them what room to go to, and then there's a lamp. That's the part I really liked about this movie. It pulls you in. Now I've seen the trailer before, but spoiler. Sorry if I'm spoiling some of the movies, but this scene I did not like how he died. I forget his name. Oh yeah, the bodyguard died after they like go to the race to pull out some suspects. I forget what else happened in it. And then wait, I don't know if it's like the bodyguard who dies or Susie, the ex-fiance, which is Malcolm's wife now. Charles's ex-fiance. There's some parts sorry if I'm like screwing it, like forgetting the parts. But I know like there was like a death before like the bodyguards. It was like the girl that died too. Susie like died later on, or like I think Sergi did. One of them too like died before like the final death. Now the deaths were so weird and not lining up to like it's like okay, it's so much of a mystery, but I liked like that. Okay, Netflix never shows who the actual killer is, but there was two people working together. It's kind of like the TV shows like Accomplice that were working together. That's what I liked about this movie, because it pulled you in so much. But there's like another weapon, and it's like this bug thing, or no. It's like a straw, and then dirt fell out, and then it got Susie or something like that. That's a part like that I find really weird that happened in like this movie. And then she tried like doing trades or something like that. What's the next part that happened? So yeah, there was like deaths in like another country. So those are the deaths that happened, and then the final death was so bizarre. Like you find out like a lot. Charles is the okay. So the final death happened to be with a guy. So spoiler alert: he's the one that passes. Why did I almost pass this away? His death did not make any sense. Like you never see like who like murdered him. Like there was like foaming at the mouth if you see like other movies. There's like bubbling in water. It's like I don't know how to describe it, but it was foaming at the mouth, and I think it was in a TV show before. That one was the creepiest death. Like you didn't see it happen. It's nothing like the Haunted Mansion, anyways. But now jumping back into like that movie. Now like they think they know who did it. Hours before, like there was like a shooting at a library. I forgot to say that part. I did not like Charles's death at all, like near the end of the movie. I didn't find it so much like Sherlock Holmes, but it pulled you in so much. Now I'm gonna jump right back into like what I was saying. Anyways, so Audrey was hours before like they go to the library or whatever place they were going to. Charles was meeting with a lawyer or something, or someone, I don't know. And they think they know who did it, but they think though, and it wasn't Susie who did it. You find out like pretty much like after like they put their like phones in the, I think it was in the water, or I forget what drink it was, but anyways, so after like that happened, that moment happened, the detective taking that case was like saying something like another language. I don't know what language it was. I forgot. I think it was French or Spanish about Nick and Audrey. And then Nick asked the bartender or whoever it was, or a worker that worked at that restaurant, to translate what this like the detective was saying. And then Audrey gets so upset with Nick, and then that's when fast forward like the next day, after like Charles took her like somewhere, and then you find out where she went. And then Nick grabbed another phone, and then I forget why he grabbed another phone, but there was two phones. It wasn't like a backup phone or a normal phone, but I think it was a burner phone. And then he calls his friend and asks to trace the number. And then, much like in like this like near the ending, this movie pulled you in so much. Let's just say that into the mysteries. That's why I liked mysteries, because I like Scooby-Doo and other movies. And Parallels. Now jumping fully back into like this movie. Sorry if I'm trying to describe it the best as I can. Now I'm gonna jump back into this movie. So the next part that happened was when Charles, Audrey were talking, and then something about like laxative or something like that. It was like a medicine or something like that, or a pill. Audrey wanted it before in the beginning of the movie. That pill. I don't know why, but Nick gave her like something, and I forget what it was, and then it was like in another language. And then she like, the clues are starting to pile up now that you think about it. So the next part, she goes into like the library or whatever it was. I just call it the library because I forget what it is. Sorry if I'm doing that. She ended up like going to the library. Nick like grabs her arm or something like that after following her. Now I didn't know what scene he came from, like where he came from, where Nick came from. He was like talking to his wife, and then Audrey said something to Nick, and then later on you find out that they're both trying to solve the mystery. And fast forward, like they like there's a shooter at the library, and then oh yeah, this is when this thing happened. So they chase him. Oh yeah, the bodyguard dies before this like wife. I forgot. So anyways, the one that happened at the hotel was like with a lamp. The bodyguard told like a backstory of the colonel. You hear so much of it. So like you hear that colonel. I forget what the colonel's name was, but there was like such a good moment. Like he like was telling his wife, the Spritz or whatever. I can't like say their names right for some reason. So he died from like someone shooting him, but you find out who did it at the end of the movie. So now jumping and like after. So I feel like this is going back and forth because so I don't forget, like I like saying things, the scenes before, like so I don't forget what moments they are at. It will make a whole lot of sense if you like watch the movie for yourself. Cause like for Aladdin, I didn't want to listen to other people's opinion, so that's why we think things through. So now jumping back into this movie. Now what I also liked about this scene, like Audrey and Nick, the people who played them, they're really good at acting. Now they worked together in the past, like just go with it. Now I'm gonna jump back into the movie. And that may be being a video for next week's video. Maybe. I'm not too sure. So the next part I'm going to talk about. Now this part did not make any sense. Like someone was shooting at like Nick and Audrey and like this place. I think it was the library. I don't remember what it was. There was like books or on shelves and stuff. So Audrey was like saying something, and then Nick grabbed her arm or something like that and told her to push like what the heck? Oh yeah, the shelf, and then it hit whoever the person was. In the forehead, like, and then fast forward, like, they chased like this guy. Whoever that person was, outside, and then the godson was with them and spoke another language. I forget what the godson was speaking. But anyways, that scene was like really well done. And then he tripped her, that other person, and then it was warning shots. Like, say like someone were to hit like that at a rock or something like that, like a window at a rock. It was like that. And then I forget the person was wearing a kind of like in like Scream, like Ghostface like costume, like what his outfit was. But there was like a mask, like kind of like, wait, where's the mask? Kind of like up there, right there. So yeah, it was like that, and then a mask broke off, and then you never like see who did it till like fast forward. They go to like the after the chase scene happened. I forget where Audrey went, but I think she was staying behind to help like Susie after like she got shot with the dart, the neck, and it was poisonous, and like also it happened in episodes too, like that same dart. But this time it was with the straw and then the dart, and then you see like it was in. Later on, you find out near the ending, like they show one of the guys that were on the boat. I forget his name, but he was like a prince, and then he had like weird colored sunglasses lens. It will make a whole lot of sense if you watch this movie, but yeah, that scene does not happen till like fast forward a couple of hours, like after like Susie dies. They go finally to that place. They think it was Charles something who did it, but he ends up dying. Like, spoiler alert, he dies. You never see his death, but his death was so weird. Sorry if I'm shaking my camera. Anyways, now jumping back into this. Now I don't know, I'm shaking. Anyways, back to like the situation that I'm talking about. So you never see. Anyways, so you never see who did it. So the only like thing. So after like they ended up calling like the detective that was working on that case, but you find out it wasn't whoever did it, because he was the one that died. He was the final death. And then later on they like act confident. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. And then they dress up like, okay, Audrey, the person playing her, Jennifer Aniston, she like dressed up like Scarlet from like Clue. And then Adam Sandler, who played Nick Spitz or whatever, I mispronounce names all the time. He was the one that dressed up in a tux, and then they go back to like not the scene of the crime. They go back to like this room where everyone is, and then they were talking about the will. That was one of the clues. I don't know, like, and then so like the people died after like. You think it was? I thought it was Susie or like the other people, but I was right. 2 people like left the room. On the boat, Grace was such a mystery. Like, you never see her parents. You don't know much about her, but she was like the secret child. You find out she was the secret child. It's much like the Pretty Liars in that sense. But anyways, so you find out like the person who Nick hit or something like that, or threw something at. I don't remember. But she like, after like the cops were called, they arrived like on time or something like that, or like hours, like a few hours after. Then she like had like a mark right here where my finger is, and it like after that, because I forget who hit who with something. Then she was like one of it. She gets arrested after like Audrey said something, and then you like get flashbacks of like stuff that happened. She was one of them. I was second guessing myself. I'm like, no, it couldn't be her. It could be someone else on the boat. That was whoever was invited, or like close family and friends. Anyways, now the next moment that happened later on, after she gets arrested for like something, you find out she was working with someone, along with someone. She wasn't the one that was firing at the bodyguard, but there was someone else that I was very suspicious of from the get-go. He was like, okay, so he was like a Weisskirk driver, and he was like angry about like what the Uncle Malcolm did. So his character would have been a really good Disney villain. So anyways, this character, Juan Carlos or whatever his name is, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but anyways, his character was a mystery. Like, you didn't meet his parents, but you find out his dad died from, like, what Malcolm did. Whatever Malcolm did in the past. I think you get, like, stories of war. Like, the bodyguard tells the background stories of the colonel, like, I was gonna say Mustard, but that's not his name. The colonel's name in the movie. So, a little bit after, like, he said something, he was very suspicious, like, the guy on the boat, which is Juan Carlos. He's the godson of Malcolm, but what happened was, like, didn't make much sense now that you think of it. Like, why was he, like, so mad at, like, Malcolm for, like, something about, like, the will? Malcolm never signed the will, by the way, because he died, like, he was the first death. But anyways, he was the one that shot Sergi, Juan Carlos, or Carlo, or whatever, however you say it. But yeah, like, okay, so that happened when they were, like, outside talking. Now, like, where did he, like, go, like, by the library? That part, like, confuses me, so I have to rewatch it, kind of like why I'm rewatching Pretty Little Liars and other movies. So yeah, that scene was, like, really weird, like, near the ending. Okay, so my sister said, like, the death, because I told her, like, the dude died from, like, a bus thing. Like, he got hit by a bus. So the same dude, like, you found out that he, like, takes one of the cars, like, the police officer cars. So if I'm stuttering, anyways. So Audrey and Nick were, like, racing to the Lambo, and then the colonel said that he was gonna give them the gun. So fast forward, like, this was so cool. I find it kind of like Fast and the Furious with, like, the bus heading stuff and, like, an episode of Archer, like, the car thing, like, bumping cars and stuff. That part was, like, the coolest thing ever. So yeah, they were racing, and then as Juan Carlos is a race car driver, and later on, after, like, he, like, hit the cop in the head, and then I forget, like, he said he was speaking English, but not just another language. That was, like, the clue and the piece of the puzzle that was missing. So I guess he was the other suspect. So that's, like, the part that. So later on, after, like, that happened, Nick helps, like, the officer that was working on the case. Sorry if I forget the officer's name, but anyways, he helped that officer out of, like, the car after, like, an injury happened with the officer. That scene I really liked. And then Juan Carlos was gonna hit Nick. Am I gonna shoot at Nick or the not the police? Okay, so Nick's the police officer. I'm the detective, or whoever he was gonna hit. Audrey was saying something about, like, because, like, they went away for their anniversary, Nick and Audrey, by the way. So now jumping back into, like, my head rollers, but anyways, I'm gonna continue. I'm not trying to talk so loud, but anyways, don't wear earphones. Sorry if I don't have an intro, but I'm gonna jump right back into this. So the final cut to the part where what's the part? Sorry guys, I'm just messing up right now. I forgot what the part was, but anyways, I was gonna say. So finally, he, like, got hit by a bus, kind of like how Regina and Mean Girls got hit by the bus. But I'm gonna explain, like, all kinds of movies, like, if I see them a lot. So I'm rewatching old movies too, so I can tell, like, the reviews. So jumping back into this movie. So after, like, he, like, died after getting hit by a bus, and then the family that was on that bus was saying something, and then because, like, the one kid said that this other kid, like, the sibling, was hogging the window seat or something like that. Now I'm gonna talk about, like, outside of the movie. I'm not like that. If my sister wants to have the window seat, I would let her. It's now jumping way back into that. So fast forward, like, after, like, that moment happened, like, after, like, that anniversary trip. Now I find it really cool with that mystery aspect of that movie. Now they, like, go on a train to somewhere, I don't know where, near the ending, but they're at the train station, and then the detective that was working on the case told like the police officer Nick, who's the police officer in New York, if this makes sense, about like that he's gonna tell like his superior or whoever like his bosses, Nick's bosses, how like he worked on that case in like that Europe or whatever that state it's called. So yeah, like that movie was well done anyways, so yeah, they're happy like on that train. So now that's how the movie ended. Now that movie is so messed up how like there was like 4 or like 5 deaths in it, but I liked it because it was like kind of like the board game Clue, and then it was like so many mysteries, like the weapon, there was like weapons and clues too. That's why I liked it, because like you get weapons, the suspects who did it, you find out who framed him, the Americans they call them. Then what's the other thing? Oh yeah, it has hurt in it. What's there's like getaway like cars and stuff. There was like a okay, so Audrey and Nick were driving a Lambo before like the train happened. So now like okay, what my ultimate thoughts were, I would watch the movie before you like see like other reviews for yourself. Like for Aladdin, I saw it for myself and I said it was like this. It was like alright, but it wasn't really like, some of the songs were really good. So that's what I liked about like how like movies can pull you in. Like okay, so now I'm gonna talk about the trailer. So it was somewhat like the trailer, but I'm glad it didn't give like other like trailers gave away who the killer was, but or like 2 people working together. So I'm glad like the trailer didn't for like Netflix. That's what I liked about this movie, because it pulled you in and it had like a lot of like clues, history, and like other stuff. So that Europe trip was really pretty. Like the boats, like that looks like so much fun, but I would never go on boats. Anyways, so yeah, watch that movie for yourself. It's called Murder Mysteries and it's on Netflix and it's really good. Add Adam Sandler, Luke Evans, Jennifer Aniston. Those are and then the guy that played Ramses, and then some others. So like those are the actors that were playing like the characters. They did the characters really well. So yeah, that's my review on like Murder Mysteries. Like, subscribe, comment down below if you're new, and yeah, I just retold like what happened in Murder Mysteries. Like that was like the best movie ever. I want to rewatch it because that's like one of my favorite movies. So yeah, like that is all like my like review for today. I had to retell it because like last week when I told like or like a couple days ago after watching that movie, what am I gonna say? I didn't say like give too much away, so I'm gonna probably retell like that Aladdin movie like when I watch it again. So I'll give you the other opinion, because like I was so annoyed like last time, like when I first saw it like in theaters, that it was also it got taken down from YouTube because like of what happened with me like telling. So I was on a strike, but I was like, what the heck happened to my channel? So me and my friend's channel. So yeah, like that's my review on Murder Mystery again. And yeah, I hope you like these kind of videos, because like I don't want to be like being like told like what I should do for my channel, but in the same time I'd like to hearing back like what everyone else wants my videos to be like. So yeah, this is my review, my personal review on Murder Mysteries, and it's a Netflix show and a movie. My sister thought it was like a movie, so I told her like some interesting like parts that happen in like this movie. So yeah, there's like racing in it and other stuff that happens in it, and that movie pulled you in so much. So yeah, I have the hiccups now. So I'm gonna end this video. Why am I talking like that? Anyways, I'm gonna end this video now, and yeah, just because I'm laying down, so my sweater is like that. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment down below if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Peace.